She entered the boutique with a quiet confidence, her jeans slightly worn, her white linen shirt crisp but simple. Madison Carter barely drew a glance from the sparkling staff of Belvoir Motors, Manhattan's most exclusive luxury car dealership. She wasn't dressed for the occasion, at least not in their eyes. The receptionist offered a tight, practiced smile as Madison asked to see the new line of custom-built McLaren Roadsters. She picked up her phone as soon as Madison turned her head, texting someone behind the counter. Seconds later, a salesman emerged, Carter Lewis, a man in a sleek navy suit and an expensive watch he made sure everyone noticed. He approached her with a forced enthusiasm that barely masked his disdain. "Good morning, miss. Are you here to pick up an order, or just browsing?" he asked, letting his eyes quickly scan her sneakers and backpack. Madison smiled politely. "I'm interested in purchasing the Sapphire Edition Roadster you have on display." The smile on Carter's face faltered, then reassembled itself like a brittle mask. "Ah," he said, glancing over his shoulder as if looking for backup. "That model starts at $340,000. We usually book private consultations for serious inquiries." Around them, whispers floated from other sales reps and a few curious customers. Madison caught the way their eyes lingered on her clothes, the way amusement flickered across their faces. "I see," she said, keeping her voice even. "Is it possible to take a look at it anyway?" Carter's hand gestured vaguely toward a corner of the vast glass showroom. "It's over there, but just so you know, the waiting list is almost a year, and we usually require a deposit up front." The tone said it all. "You don't belong here." Madison nodded slowly, her heart burning with humiliation she refused to show. Without a word, she turned and exited through the revolving doors, her reflection briefly caught against the pristine glass facade of Belvoir Motors. The next morning, as sunlight broke clean and sharp over Fifth Avenue, a line of cars pulled up in front of Belvoir. Not customers, not test drives, a convoy. Black Teslas and Range Rovers lined up with precision, security stepping out first, scanning the sidewalk. At the center of it all, a midnight black Rolls-Royce Spectre, unmistakably customized. Matte finish, gold accents on the rims, the kind of car that whispered money without ever having to say a word. From the back seat stepped a man in a tailored suit that fit like second skin, sunglasses masking sharp, assessing eyes. He moved with the easy authority of someone accustomed to being listened to. His name was Logan Carter, Madison's husband and founder of Carter Technologies, one of the fastest-growing clean energy companies in the world. Inside the dealership, Carter Lewis watched in disbelief as Logan entered, a presence that sucked the air out of the room. Carter smoothed his tie, pasted on his best smile, and hurried forward. "Good morning, sir. Welcome to Belvoir Motors. Carter Lewis, Senior Sales Executive. How can I assist you today?" Logan took off his sunglasses slowly, pocketing them. "I'm here about a car my wife tried to purchase yesterday," he said. His voice was calm, almost pleasant, but there was something dangerous underneath. "The Sapphire Edition Roadster." Carter blinked. "Of course, we'd be honored to help. I'm not sure which associate she spoke with, but she spoke with you," Logan said. The silence that followed was suffocating. Nearby, the receptionist froze behind her monitor. Two other salesmen ducked behind a wall of Lamborghinis, pretending to be busy. "I think," Logan continued, "there was some confusion about whether she was a serious buyer." Carter laughed nervously. "I assure you, sir, we treat all our guests with the utmost respect." "Really?" Logan's voice cut sharper now. "Because from where I'm standing, it seems like you judged a woman by her shoes and decided she wasn't worth your time." At that moment, Richard Belvoir, the dealership's owner, appeared. A tall man with silver hair and a reputation for knowing which way the wind was blowing. "Mr. Carter, welcome. A pleasure. Please allow me to personally handle your request." Logan turned to him, slow and deliberate. "You can start by listening. My wife came in here to buy a car, cash. She wanted it for her sister who just finished cancer treatment. She was treated like dirt because she didn't fit your idea of what a buyer looks like." Richard paled. I deeply apologize. If there's anything we can do—" "There is," Logan said, "but we'll get to that in a minute." The crowd inside the dealership grew, silent witnesses to the unfolding reckoning. Logan stepped closer to Carter. "Here's the funny part. I wasn't just here to buy one car. I was considering replacing my corporate fleet, 14 vehicles, and maybe a few for the foundation events we sponsor. Carter's face drained of color. But now, Logan said, smiling without warmth, I'm questioning whether Belvoir Motors is the kind of business I want associated with my company. Richard Belvoir practically stumbled over his words, trying to fix it. Mr. Carter, please, let us make this right. We can offer special rates, private consultations, anything. Logan shook his head. Respect isn't something you patch together after you realize someone has money. It's something you show from the start. As Carter stood there, humiliated, Madison entered the dealership quietly, wearing the same simple outfit from the day before. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Logan turned to her and extended his hand. Ready to pick out your car? Madison smiled and took it. Behind them, Carter Lewis could do nothing but watch as they made their way to the Sapphire Edition Roadster. The same car he had guarded so jealously the day before, now completely out of his reach. And the lesson, though delivered without raised voices or revenge, hit harder than any public spectacle ever could. By noon, the deal was finalized. Madison selected the Sapphire Roadster, but she didn't stop there. With Anna, the dealership's youngest associate, who had treated her with quiet respect the moment she walked in, she arranged the purchase of 3 more luxury vehicles for the Carter Foundation's charitable raffles. No discounts asked, no special treatment demanded. When the paperwork was complete, Logan Carter made a simple request. I'd like the receipts and purchase agreements handled exclusively by Anna. She's the only one here who understood what real service looks like. Richard Belvoir nodded so quickly it looked painful. Carter Lewis remained frozen at the side of the showroom, forgotten by everyone except the handful of employees who had once taken their cues from him. Before leaving, Madison paused at the entrance. She turned back, catching Carter's eye across the gleaming floor. Next time someone walks in here, she said quietly, try looking at their heart instead of their shoes. It wasn't spite. It wasn't rage. It was something worse. Pity. The story didn't stay confined to the dealership walls. It spread through the luxury market like a spark in dry grass. Word leaked to a few well-placed media contacts, helped along by witnesses who had recorded snippets of the confrontation. By evening, Belvoir Motors was trending on social media for all the wrong reasons. Billionaire couple shames elitist dealership. Judged by sneakers, paid in lessons. The backlash was swift. Orders were cancelled. Clients who prided themselves on discretion didn't want to be associated with an establishment that humiliated potential customers based on appearances. A major automotive magazine published an editorial titled, "The Cost of Underestimating Humanity." Within 2 weeks, Belvoir Motors announced a full internal review. Carter Lewis's profile disappeared quietly from the company's website. Rumors floated that corporate insisted he either step down or face a public termination. Meanwhile, Anna received a well-deserved promotion, her new business cards reading Client Relations Director. She also received something more valuable, a handwritten note from Madison herself, thanking her for her kindness on a day when so few had offered any. A month later, the Carter Foundation hosted its annual charity gala at the Glass House overlooking the Hudson River. The event was a masterpiece of understated elegance, attended by philanthropists, researchers, survivors, and families. And amid the flowers and soft music, a new group of volunteers helped coordinate guests, direct traffic, and assist those who needed extra support. Among them was Carter Lewis. At first, he had volunteered because Richard Belvoir had made it clear, help at the gala or don't bother coming back to the industry at all. But as the night wore on, something shifted, helping a young girl in a wheelchair reach the buffet table, guiding an elderly cancer survivor across the dance floor, watching as families embraced second chances at life. It all stripped away the layers of pride and polished surface he had once wrapped around himself like armor. Late in the evening, as Madison Carter moved through the crowd thanking donors, she spotted him. She approached without fanfare, just a simple kindness he hadn't earned, but was grateful for nonetheless. "How's the night treating you?" she asked. Carter hesitated. He looked around at the laughing, thriving crowd, at children who had stared down death and smiled anyway. "It's humbling," he said finally, "and overdue." Madison nodded once. "Good. growth usually is. They stood there for a moment, the noise of the gala swirling around them, before Carter added, voice lower, "I'm sorry for how I treated you, truly." Madison studied him for a long second. "I know." She didn't offer absolution. She didn't need to. Growth wasn't about being forgiven. It was about becoming someone who no longer needed to be. Later, as Madison joined Logan near the stage for the auction portion of the night, Carter remained by the doors, quietly ushering guests and offering directions. No titles, no accolades, just service. As Logan raised his glass to the crowd and spoke of second chances, not just in medicine but in how we see each other, Carter listened closely, absorbing every word. That night, over $1 million was raised to fund new research grants and family support programs. 3 children rang ceremonial bells signifying remission. Couples danced, laughter rose against the skyline, and Carter Lewis learned, perhaps for the first time in his life, that true status wasn't about standing above others. It was about standing beside them. When the night finally ended and Carter stepped outside into the cool New York air, he looked up at the stars hidden by city lights. He smiled a small, genuine smile. He hadn't just learned something about customers that night. He had learned something about himself.